Hello everyone, it's Laura here. So you're here with, let me turn it, say hey Kathy, let's say, oh, hi, and you're here with me, hey. All right, so we are doing today this ridiculously cute Boo Crew mini album. This is a 6x6 mini album, and the idea behind this, Kathy and I are both making two of them, and the reason why is I've got some littles. I've got two that are really little, and so I'm making these as a gift for them, and Kathy's doing the same thing. And every page you're going to have a new year of their Halloween pictures. So this one is going to go from 0 to 16. So you'll have, and I don't know if all the kids will dress up for 0 to 16, but they'll have their own little mini album that they can say they have their whole life, one picture for every year, or maybe sometimes two. But anyway, so this is the start of it. So I'm just going to go flip through really quickly and show you. So this is the first page. Eat, drink, and be scary. Just very cute. Double, toil and trouble. And I also I had to get this little vampire right here because he looks just like my grandson. One of my grandsons looks just like him. So I used these, the Halloween besties. And I didn't buy all of them, but I tried to get the ones that look the most like some of my grandbabies. And this one just looks just like my Carter. And I felt like this one looks an awful lot like Cassidy. And then not many of them look like Emma, but Emma could be one of these two. So anyway, we got those. And so I actually cut them in different colors. So you could have tanner, you could have browner, you can have peacher. So you could have different colors of your children. So, and I made mine, I started off with mine pretty generic. So, okay, let me keep going because we got to get to cutting. So we've got the Boo pages. We've got that sweet little ghost. Now this is actually a ridiculously easy to create album. Let's get spooky, and we did stamp and color some of these pumpkins, and we colored our little girl and her little puppy. This is fun. So my vampire is underneath in his coffin. He's just poking out there, so you can lift that to see him. We've got another stamped pumpkin and a stamped bat. And then we've got all these little stamped pumpkins. These are different stamped pumpkins that came in the stamp sets. We've also got some of our brand new color of the year is wild berry. So we've got some wild berry shimmer trim popping in this little book. There's even more wild berry shimmer trim. If you notice, we also have some of our glitz sprays, or gloss sprays. Yeah, there we go, gloss sprays. This one we did a little bit of paper piecing to give her a tan body, but her white dress. And then our last one says Hocus Pocus. So that is our mini album that we are going to be creating. What you need is you'll need a 6x6 album. Ours come in red, green, and lavender. So I chose the green. The other great thing about these little albums is on a really low temperature setting, you can cut out vinyl to make your own topper on it. So my plan is to get some orange vinyl and put a pumpkin or something, the kid's name, whatever it is, on the outside. And for those of you that are interested in doing that, we will, this better be recording. I mean, mad if it's not. How do I tell?
It's supposed to be live.
Nope, it's not live. There it is. It is. No, I'm just recording it and then I'll upload to YouTube. Okay, so what you need to do this is you need the Boo Crew paper packet and sticker sheet, and that comes with 1 sticker sheet and 6 sheets of pattern paper. You need some Boo Crew sequins, these little ghost sequins. I feel like a makeup artist now showing you those the way they... So some ghost sequins. You need some shimmer trim, some of that wild berry shimmer trim. It is glitter sticky on the back side, comes on this little sheet, carrier sheet. And you need 2 pieces of black cardstock one piece of wild berry and 2 pieces of white cardstock. All right, so we're going to get going and get started. The first thing that we're going to do before we cut anything is we are going to do some sprays on our paper first. And then I can set those to the side and dry while we start cutting. So on the white cardstock, I use the Gilt. This is a brand new color, the Gilt. So it comes out kind of a little gold, a little orangish. So we want to shake that up real good so that you're not seeing any of that chalky on the bottom. When they settle, you get a little bit of that chalk on the bottom. So you want to shake it up so you don't get that chalk. And then we want to spray. So if you spray closer, you're going to get bigger splots. If you back up a little bit more, you're going to get softer spots. Now I'm being very careful because I do have kind of a small box, so I don't want to get ink on everything around me. So I am being a little bit more careful. This white daisy, we're actually going to cut down into smaller bits. So this is going to create 6 of our base pages. All right, that's feeling good for that one, and I'll hand this one over to Kathy. Well, first, no, let me do my black first, so then I can give her the box too. All right, so then on our black paper, we are doing the white media, the white gloss spray. So again, shake that up. There is a little ball in there. You can hear just like when you're doing a spray can, there's a little ball in there so that you can, so it mixes it up. Now, another trick with these, if you like bigger splotches, you can just take this out and blot it like that. So kind of up to you how you want to play it. So that's enough. I don't want to do too much. Well, I think I want a few more bigger blotches. Again, we're going to be cutting this down into smaller bits, so you're not going to really see all of this in one spot. Ooh, see, the closer you go, look at that. I don't like that at all. That's all right. We'll probably cover it up anyway. All right, so do our blotches there. Now that's got to dry. And we are going to hand this whole bit over to Miss Kathy so she can get hers sprayed. There we go, Kathy. There's that, and there is that. And while she's spraying hers, I am going to start taking our zip strips off. So she's heard all this before, so she doesn't need to hear it again. All of our paper comes instead of coming as a 12 by 12, it comes as a 12 by 12 and a half. And that includes our zip strips. So one side, as you can see, has got a little pattern on it, and the other side has our the name of the kit, the name of the company, and then in the center it has all the names of all of the colors that are used in this kit. So that's a really great way to keep up if you happen to have some leftover paper and you want to see what you're using. If you have any zip strips left, let me see, I'll make sure I'm in frame, and I am. So gotta try to keep that there. So we're going to keep cut all of our paper down to 12 by 12 so that we cut all of those zip strips off. We will be using these, so don't throw them away. Now, because this is, we think, 16 pages plus a front and back, we have a lot of little pages that you will be 16. So there's a lot of little pages that you're going to be creating. And what I always do is I have, and let me just bring this in frame real quick. So I have these shelves, these little shelves, and as I tell you what to cut, I'll tell you to cut it and put it on either page 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so on and so on. So if you're around and you're doing this on replay, which I know you are because I'm recording it right now, pause me and go get some what do you call those things? Sticky notes. Go get you some sticky notes And then you can put on your trays or on your table, if you line it up across your table, what pages are where, because you're going to need that for later. I don't want you getting confused and putting things in the wrong spots, or, you know, stopping and count constantly, like I had to do last night when I was making the directions to count which pages. So that way you know exactly where you're putting all your goodies. So I'm going to grab that real quick. All right, so my sticky notes. I am going to put pages 1 and 2. So I do 2 together. So I'm going to put 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Because like I said, we're letting our paper dry right now, so we're not going to be putting all the bases on. We're not going to be putting all your bits and pieces on the bases since they're still drying. So pages 7 and 8. And I'm putting these, I'll show you in just a minute, 9 and 10. 11 and 12. 13, 14. Oh, this is going to be perfect. 15 and 16. And then front, just doing an F and a B for back, front and back. Need that? Need the pen? Yep. So, if you're watching on replay, see what I've done there? I've put my little things. I've got page 1, 2, 3, 4, and all the way down the list until I get to the front and back. So that way I know where I'm putting everything. All right. Well, oh, there's my directions. I was going to say, it would be handy to have my directions. I'm telling you, these are easy. So even though I had you cut all of the zip strips off, you're actually only going to need half of this paper pack. So you can take one of your spiders, one of your pink ghosts, and one of your words and the stars, and you can put them back in your kit. Make cards with them, make larger pages with them, make more pages if you want. We will be using just about, I think, all but 3 of the stickers. So you do need the whole kit because we've got to use all of the stickers in this kit. But, 12. 16. And then front and back. All right, so you only need the 3 pieces of paper plus your white, plus your pink paper. So this is actually a great class for someone who hasn't done a lot of scrapbooking, because it is so stinking easy. I'm telling you, so easy. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is start cutting some of our zip strips. All right, so our first zip strip is this candy one, and I'll cut Kathy's for her because she's still writing all of hers, so I'm going to cut hers for her too. So if you see me doing a bunch of them, don't fret. I'm just doing doubles, double, toil and trouble, right? All right, so our candy zip strip is getting cut at 6 inches. So we've got one that has this little candies on it, and that's getting cut at, again, it is 6 inches. All right, I'm cutting hers for her, and she's doing hers twice. So everything we do for her, we're doing 2 times. All right, so those candy zip strips, one goes on page 1 and one goes on page 2. So if you can see, I'm just going to try to move this over here. Let's see. You can see those little zips are over here under the 1 and 2. So I'll know when I go to put my stuff together where it belongs. All right, so that's on 1 and 2. And then we've got another candy zip strip, and we're doing that one at 6 inches as well. All right, let's find Kathy's. Now she should have one more. There it is, since she's doing her 2 books because she got 2 grandbabies. I think this will be a sweet little thing for those grandbabies to go back and look at later in life. All right, so your second one goes on page 13 and one goes on page 14. All right. Now your orange and black strip gets cut to 6 inches again. Oh, I think Kathy's ready for hers back now. So the orange and black strip, cut it to 6 inches. One goes on 13 and one goes on 14. And the rest of these zip strips, let's see. Oh, no, no, no. Okay, wait. Where's my book? The second one, I didn't write this down, goes on the front cover and back cover. So go on and take your other black and orange and cut it at 6 inches. And one goes on the front and one goes on the back cover. So I had you label one F and one B. These stars are scrap, so you can put that back in your scrap pile. You can save it for later, use it with your leftovers, but remember, since it has the names of the colors that goes with it on the back, it is going to be helpful for you to hang on to and keep it with your paper. That way, if you need more paper, you can find it easily. All right, so first paper we're going to be cutting is your one side has got your ghost and your boo. And the other side is your pink with your ghost. So Kathy's going to stack hers up double because she's doing it for 2 babies. We are going to be cutting down through between the ghosts. So not under, you're going down between the ghosts just like this. And your first cut is at 2 inches. So you can either measure at 2 if you feel more comfortable, and some people like to do backwards math. You go to 10 because you know your paper started out at 12. So either way you go, take off 2 inches. And we're going to go on and do that 2 times. So if you were already at 10, move it down to 8. If you like working off of the other side, measure it at 2 again. But whatever you've got 2 pieces that are 2 by 12. All right, now both of these pieces, you're going to turn them short in the trimmer. So turn them just like this in the trimmer. And you're going to cut both of them at 6 inches. So when I say tall and short in the trimmer, what that means, if I tell you it's tall in the trimmer, that means the longest side of the paper is what you're going to cut. If I tell you short in the trimmer, you're going to cut it on the short side, so on the place that's the shortest. All right, so with these guys, one is going to go on page 5, one goes on page 6, one goes on page 8, and one goes on page 14. That's already got a bunch of zip strips on it. All right, now you're going to keep the paper in the trimmer tall. So still just like this, you're going to keep the paper in the trimmer tall, and you are going to cut it at 5 inches. So I don't mind measuring this right at 5 inches. I don't do backwards math on this one just because I like to cut my paper always so that it has the most lip. So it's resting against the longest part of the lip, so it is more stable. If you go cutting when you don't have as much lip, sometimes you can shift your paper and then you get an awkward cut. All right, so now that we've cut it at 5 inches, you're going to turn it short in the trimmer and you're going to cut it at 5 inches 2 times. All right, so 5 inches, set that 5 inch to the side, scoot it in, and cut it at 5 inches a second time. Now these 2 5-inch pieces, one goes on page 9 and one goes on page 10. This little 2-inch piece that falls off is a scrap. You can put that over there with those zip strips. All right, so what you have left here is a 3-inch piece. Sure enough, we're going to turn that short in the trimmer, and you're going to cut it at 2 inches 2 times. All right, so 2 inches and 2 inches. Now you could have done just like you did before and do 10 and 8. Because it's a smaller piece, I can hold it. I know I'm going to keep it stable, so I went on and did it the opposite way. All right, and one of these goes on page 1 and one goes on page 2. Now, I had originally in my at first, you have 3 by 8 here, so I had turned this and cut it at 4 for 2 photo mats. But the pages I was using them on, which is the front and back, kind of got lost. So if you want to hang on to this and use it as a photo mat, it's perfect for a 3 by 4 photo mat, but otherwise it goes in your scrap pile. But I think it's a nice size leftover for cards too. So, all right, next we are cutting your spiders. So you've got your spiders, and the back side is your orange plaid. So once again, you're cutting with your spiders going this way. So you're cutting with the spiders or with that line down between the spiders. All right, and you're going to do this cut actually 3 times. So we're going to cut it 1 1/2. So 1 1/2. And we're going to do that 3 times. Oh, cut that spider right in half. All right, now all of these guys, we're going to turn them all short, and we're going to cut at 5 until we run. We're going to cut it 5 times at 5. So there's 5 and 5. Then we've got this little scrap that goes in your scrap pile. The next one is at 5, 5, and then that little 2-inch piece goes in your scrap pile. And then this last one is just 5 one time. And then this larger piece goes in your scrap pile. Now all of these go on page 7 and 8. All right, just every once in a while I like to stand up and make sure I'm still in the frame here. We're 22 minutes in, we're doing pretty good. Sometimes I just have to keep checking because once in a while my video will stop at 48 minutes, but I think we're okay. So I am right next door to a gun store, and the police are out today, like parked. They've been going in and out of the gun store a lot today.
Do they shoot over there?
Nope, they don't shoot. They just go and buy vests and stuff. All right, so now we are going to turn your paper short in the trimmer. So now we're cutting through the lines, and we are going to cut at 2 inches 2 times. All right. Oh, are you doubling? Good job. All right, so now these 2-inch pieces that you've cut, we're going to turn them short and cut them both at 3 inches twice. So 3 inches, and then 3 inches, and your leftover goes in your scrap pile. And then 3 inches, and 3 inches, and the leftover goes in your scrap pile. All right, and you're going to have one of each. So one with spiders up and one with orange up goes on page 1. And then one with spiders up and one with orange up goes on page 2. Easy peasy.
Twice?
Yep.
1 and 2.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so now your spiders are going to go back in, and we're going back to cutting with the spiders. So we're cutting in this direction so that you're cutting with the spider web. And you are going to go on and cut this one at 6 inches. 6 inches. And this strip that falls off, this little 1.5 inch strip that falls off, is a scrap. Now turn your larger piece sideways so it's short in the trimmer, and you're going to cut it at 4 inches. Whew, I scared myself. 4 inches 2 times. Oh, no, you're not. Well, mine took a sliver off. You probably won't take much of anything off. All right, and one of those goes on the front cover and one goes on the back cover. And I did mine with spiders up. I always tell everybody, I am never, ever, ever going to be offended if you're looking at yours and you want to do yours a little differently. It's never, ever going to bother me. So you just go right ahead. All right, so the next piece that we're cutting is this one with all of our word boxes. And so I have measured, I have the measurements of how big I want you to have them, but I want you to double check before you cut and make sure that those measurements do work in those lines. And they should, but if we're a little over or a little under the line, like when you measure, sometimes it can start to, by the time you're done with it, start to come off of it. So we don't have any extra of this, so I want you to kind of be careful with your cutting on this one and try to double check when I tell you to cut it. Double check before you just go willy-nilly cutting that it is also that your line between those two are kind of falling in that gutter so that we get that lined up right. Okay, so our first cut is going to be at 1 inch. So at 1 inch, that should be cutting 2 of your boxes. Okay, so 1, 2, it should be cutting right down with 2 of your strips of boxes off. And I happen to have the Fiskars that has a little wire, and sure enough, my wire is going right where I want it. So I'm going to go on and cut that. And now you're going to turn that short and cut it at 6 inches. And one of those goes on 3 and one goes on 4. And we're going to go a little bit slower on this one since our Kathy is cutting for 2. And I'm sure if you are a little bit newer at doing this, you will probably want a little more time to make sure that you're on those lines anyway. And if you aren't newer at doing this, then you can just go to the bathroom or go get a soda or something. All right, so now your paper is going to go back in the trimmer, same direction. We're still cutting with your words, and our next cut is at 2 inches. All right. So the same thing, you should be going, now we've got 4. So you should now have 4 strips of word boxes in there. All right. And this one, we're going to turn short. And you are going to cut at 4 inches. Actually, I'm going to start it from the other side so that my words are starting right from the beginning. So 4 inches. And this one goes on page 5. And then out of the rest of this one, and this one doesn't matter how you cut it. I mean, it's still tall, but we're going to cut 2 strips that are 1 inch. And we're actually using the star side on this one. So that's why I said it doesn't matter, you know, if they cut through any of your boxes. We're using the star side on this one. And those go on page 11 and 12. And this is the first thing we've had on 11 and 12, right? Yeah. All right, and then the rest of this piece is a scrap. All right, so back to your large piece. We're putting it back right in the same exact way. We're putting it in tall. Tall. And this time we're going to cut at 5 inches. Now, again, on this one, we are using, how do I have more paper left? Oh, I missed one. There it is. Okay. So, nope, let's go back. Okay, don't cut your 5 inches. Cut it at 2 again. And the reason for that is because I do want you to still pay attention that you're on the line. So this one's going to be 2 inches. Pay attention that this time you have 4 of your word boxes in there. All right, and then turn that piece short and cut it at 6 inches. And they go on 11 and 12 as well. So good for us. We have something. Oh, we don't have anything on 15 and 16 yet, do we?
No.
Oh, we're getting ready to. All right, so now we're back to this paper, and we are going to now be cutting 5 inches. All right, now turn your 5-inch piece short in the trimmer and cut it at 5 inches 2 times. So you've got 2 5x5s, and those go stars up on 15 and 16. And then this little piece that falls off is a scrap. And now your remaining piece should be 2 inches. So obviously, like I was just telling you, I've cut mine just a little bit shorter. So it's got just a tiny bit of, just a tiny little line there that I need to take off. And my blade isn't super brand new, so I'm gonna need to go back and cut that with scissors to get that a nice straight edge. All right, so you have 2 inches left. Put that 2 inches in the trimmer short and cut it at 6. And mine is gonna be distressed, which is Halloween, so that's okay, right? All right, so one of these is going to go on the front cover and one is going on the back cover. Look at that. We are done cutting. Oh, well, we're done cutting that paper. So now these little guys are dry. So go on and cut all of your white pieces that you sprayed. Yep, they're nice and dry. You're going to cut them to 6 inches, 6 by 6 squares. All of them. Yep.